name of the Most High. Well, isn't it interesting? I told you, don't take your eyes off the peace deal. And I've been saying this for, months now. And that's the main driver of the Trump administration. That and trade. Peace is trade, trade is peace, remember? Okay, so I think we're on the verge of this historic peace deal. When I say historic, that means it will be written in the history books, should there be history books. And I find that it's a very interesting deal because it shows how people have been working on this all through the chaos, through the Charlie Kirk, through the budget disagreements and the shutdown of the government, through the various politicians whining and screaming with their panties in a knot about Trump invading their cities and trying to scare the little people into going, oh my God, we got to stop this, And well played. Because in all those distractions, had there been a focus on the peace deal would not have gone through. So, Trump had to basically distract the entire nation and the entire world while he was working on his, what was on his heart. So I just, that's just something to think about. People all having their theories, and they've, most people that I know have become so negative that it's hard for me to believe that they're not suicidal or really wanting to check out, because they've already figured out that everything everywhere is wrong. Everything everywhere is wrong. It's devastatingly wrong. And there's no way to fix it because there's whatever you try will fail. People have tried and failed. The little people are cordoned off from what's actually happening. The big people in the club are dictating what happens to all of us. You have no say anyway. You're nothing but a slave. You're just a little person that's just laughed at, scoffed at, or just used in experimentation for the fat cats that run the place. Now, that mentality is nothing new, but it does mean that if that is your outlook, that you will guaranteed wind up in either a Great Depression that you can't come out of, or just permanently damaged from brain damage by having your brain, rewiring your brain to see everything as bad. And believe me, I'm well aware of this in my own life. And I'm working on my own brain and trying to work on not, there was a point where I was really cynical, I remember, where I used to walk down the street and laugh at the normies, and this was when those of us who could see, who understood what this world was, back in the 80s, back in 1987, during what the New Agers called the harmonic convergence, back in those days where we were talking about all this stuff, and the sort of reptilian stranglehold on humanity and the fatalism. But I did notice that quite a few people lost their lives through fatalism and fatalistic kinds of thinking, because you get into the chaos like we just were in. We were just in a big period of chaos. We're coming out of it now, and most people won't even know what they went through because they really don't have any inner life. It's just kind of like a machine that just you push go and it goes. It just does what it's supposed to do, without any reflection. And more and more people have kind of woken up, but one of the alarming things that I saw was the reaction of the Charlie Kirk. You might want to call it the divide. There are people out there whose now sole job it is to shame anyone who has a problem with Erica Kirk or Charlie Kirk or the memorial or whatever, or the family in any way, shape, or form. If they're not perfectly clean, they will dox you and shame you, online. So you've got tremendous bullying tactics coming from the Kirk camp, and it's amazing that they have the kind of power that they do. And it's kind of amazing that Charlie was moved out of the way in favor of his wife Erica, who was installed as the de facto leader of a very powerful global youth organization. So after seeing that and seeing these kind of people do this sort of blind patriotism, where they're, USA saluting the flag and all that, when they have no idea what's involved in it. They have no idea what that means. It can be a cause for cynicism. And so here's a few tips on how to guard your mind. Number one, if you find yourself getting into, look, it's all fucked, there is no light at the end of the tunnel, we're just screwed, just spending time. Okay, that is a pathway toward mental illness and toward victory for the other side. You're dead, right? You're basically, your mind has rendered you dead because you've already figured out it's all fucked. There's nothing really more to think about. It's all bad, and every angle is bad, and every human being is bad, and everyone who's in a state of leadership is bad, and everything is bad from one tip of the world to the other. And then if that's not enough, there's also conspiracies of other beings and other rulers and other forces that they govern this place. So it's just bad all the way, and you're just a victim. And how long do you think you can keep that up before you finally, you wake up in the morning and everything seems bleak and nothing seems worth getting out of bed for, and nothing seems worth trying anymore. And everything just seems like to be, it's basically our fate to finally realize it's all fucked. They left nothing for us and we're doomed. Well, you've got Jesus. And then it's like, well, I guess I'll just go live on a mountaintop and talk to Jesus then. Which is, and the problem with that is, it's very hard to talk to Jesus when you're in a state of delusion, because Jesus demands that you drop the delusion, you drop the fear, you drop the lie, and you come to him, honestly, openly in that way, to say, hey, God, I'm over my head. I see everything as I don't see anything good in your creation. I think I've lost my faith in Jesus. I think I've lost my faith in everything there possibly could be. I just want them to go ahead and nuke the planet and get it over with. Every day I have to look at these people on the bus, on the subway, in the Ubers, going to work, doing the same stupid thing every day, saying the same stupid shit every day, having no mind, having no soul, and just going through the motions. And now they're all populating the Charlie Kirk rallies, wanting to be, thinking that getting involved with a martyr, is going to make them a acceptable Christian, and maybe there's hope there. And so when anyone says anything to the contrary, the bullies come out, don't they? And boy, are they vicious on the Kirk side. Holy shit. You thought the DNC was vicious. You ain't seen nothing. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, the NFL is still under the DEI delusion. A lot of these companies are, and these states are still employing Antifa. Antifa is the Portland government. Let me get up here a little better. The Portland government and Antifa and the Portland Police Department. Apparently, like a couple of nights ago, the police are cheering on Antifa, beating up, anti-Antifa or, pro-America people. And the police are cheering it on. Yes, because the police and Antifa, and this is something that this woman, Borisenko, that a lot of people listen to, she hasn't really gone into this too much. A little bit, you know what I mean? But it's like the Antifa is ancient, and these police unions are ancient, and they're brethren. The police want to overthrow the United States. They're working with Antifa to do it, and they eventually will be used to keep out the National Guard, and they'll have to go into war tactics and maybe lose their lives. And this is because the public has not figured out that Antifa is being protected by the police. Antifa is being protected by Pritzker of Illinois. Antifa is being protected by the mayor of Chicago. Antifa is being protected wherever there are blue states. And they're part and parcel of the Democrat Party. There's no separation between them. They're electing, that is the Democrat Party. They're called the DNC. DNC is electing Mamdani. Now, Mamdani, if that's how I pronounce it, I probably have it backwards, is a out and out full-blown communist who wants to change New York City into a communist state. And as New York goes, the rest of the country needs to go, and that's what he wants to do. So in the midst of this very interesting peace deal, which I believe will probably go through, as I told you it would some months ago, and it's going to lead the way to I think, now that this is such a monumental occasion and such a huge issue, this is the #1 issue in the world. Oh, not feeling that? Commenting on other issues? Oh, pray tell, why? Do you think other issues are bigger than the peace deal? Do you think that, the invasion of Illinois is bigger? Do you think Taylor Swift is bigger? No, the biggest issue in the world is the peace deal. That's the biggest issue by far. Lost your discernment? Not able to understand what's important, what isn't? Unable to prioritize issues? That's part of the negativity I'm talking about. So you lose your ability to discern. You lose your ability to prioritize. You lose your ability to use logic. And that's when you need to, some people say back off the internet. I'd say that's a great idea. I don't have any better ideas than that. People have told me that, and I think you're right. I've got to take you up on that at some point. I'm actually in full-blown therapy. And, you want me to share something funny with you? My last session, and I'm complaining about everything. You know what I mean? It's just the Charlie Kirk thing had blown my mind. Seeing Erica Kirk as the Whore of Babylon, which is my first vision of her, blew my mind. And then seeing her be presented to Satan at the Charlie Kirk event when it's supposed to be a Christian event. And I see, it doesn't matter if you think I'm right or wrong. That's what I'm seeing in my mind. I'm seeing that play out. And then I'm reporting that to you. Isn't that what you pay me for? Okay. So, I was, that kind of tainted. I said, why even get up in the morning? Why even do anything? Why breathe anymore? I've seen enough. I'm ready to, put a bullet in my head and go home. Who cares? I don't care if I go to hell or not. I don't care anything. Okay. So that's bad. Okay. Yeah. And yours truly is experiencing that kind of distress. I'm sorry, but I'm just simply human. And that psyop they ran on Charlie Kirk is still rattling around in my brain, trying to fuck me up. And still, and watching people just sign on to it, whatever the government says. You think these people have woken up? So, I'm talking to the therapist, and she's like, kind of agreeing with me in a way. She's a clinical social worker and therapist. So she's definitely on the liberal bent of things, but doesn't judge what my views are or whatever. But we're trying to talk. And then what I find out from her is Her mind is blown too. And she's struggling with it. And isn't that interesting? Here we are in therapy. I'm the patient. I'm the client, so to speak, but I'm really the patient. And she's the clinical psychologist. And I'm sitting there, holding her up in a way just for a second. And then, we're at least agreeing in our mutual misery of the way the world is gone, the way it's going. And then no sooner do I say Trump is Satan giving away the bride, which was to me so clear, and I'll never back down out of my vision. I'll stick with my vision even to the end of the earth. And a lot of people agree with me as well, having had similar vision. So, but the idea that we have Trump is playing the role of like Satan on earth giving away the bride. And then we have Trump, the peacemaker. And then we have Trump, the Epstein, buddy who quashed the Epstein files because of his involvement with Epstein back during the time of the pageants. And, when you finally get through all that stuff, if you've maintained a positive attitude, then you must be some kind of Superman. You must be something extraordinary, something that's well beyond human, and certainly beyond human evaluation. You must be the most enlightened person that the world has ever seen besides Jesus. Because I don't see how you could, keep an even keel with those forces like that. And then, of course, the law and order going into DC and Illinois, Portland, really what it is, it's a big roundup of Antifa, which is going to come. And that roundup is going to cause people to go ape shit crazy and start shooting. And then, Trump is, him, he's not going to back down. He's going to keep on going, to every last man. He's not going to put up with a country that has, a terrorist dissent that wants to tear down the Constitution, training and living in cities. He won't do it. Just like the Democrats are not going to put up with MAGA supporters in the future, although I don't think anyone knows what MAGA means because, a lot of these people are struggling to remain MAGA, even though they don't understand the president and some of the things he does and says at this point, including if you look at the balance sheet, you'll see that he has 0 arrests. Still, this is incredible. So anyway, this peace deal looks like it's going to go down. And then that's not done yet. There's one peace deal left, and that's somehow something with Ukraine and Russia besides nuclear war, which is enough to also make people upset. And then you have, the domestic disturbance, civil war, all that, which now seems petty in the light of this Hamas thing. That the shutting down the government, the games between the left and right seem almost superfluous, right? Not important at all. Just more crazy making for people, more like everything is dysfunctional, nothing works, it's all fucked. So, and I'm not going to live that way. I'm going to have to fight back. I'm not going to just go around saying everything's fucked and, oh, look at Trump over here. He's with, he did these pageants and involving these girls and, look over here, he's doing a peace deal. Look over there, he's doing, well, it's all invalid because he's already been shown to be invalid. So everything he does is invalid. Everything the next 25 years is invalid. Everything that's happened in my entire life is invalid. We're just programmed slaves going nowhere except into a brick wall, and we're supposed to be happy. And that's what we're dealing with. And, that's what I'm dealing with in my little therapy. I also have her there in case I need someone to explain to somebody that I'm fully sane. And imagine that, I'm something that most people are not, though. I'm conscious. And most people in America are not conscious. They're awakening. They're a little better than they were, But when I saw the Charlie Kirk rallies and turning it into the NFL rallies and the Taylor Swift being incredibly with almost no talent whatsoever in lyric writing and song arranging. I mean, she has people do that for her, and I know she has an act on stage, but that's the one thing that sells it for. That's what she sells. The idea that this person that can't put two words together in a poetic way is dominating the singer-songwriter charts tells me a lot more about America than about Taylor Swift. And, and I would say that if Taylor Swift is your goddess, then yeah, you're doomed, and so is America, and so is everything you touch. You talk about idol worship. It's gone off the charts. It's ridiculous now. And so I think people keep waiting for it to be turned off. It's not, she's the devil's plaything. Remember I pointed out to everybody out there, remember Pia? I don't know, were you around then? Ice Spice, yeah, in the Super Bowl, how Ice Spice was up there with her buddy Taylor in the box, and Ice Spice was throwing all these these magical symbols with her hands to try to make Kansas City win. Remember that? And then Kansas City won. Remember that? And then she's got her dorky boyfriend Travis Kelce, who's about as intellectual as a turnip. And well, so here's my final word on this today. Blessed is he whose God is the Lord. This is a direct quote. Let me get the verse for you, because this is what saved me. Blessed is he whose God is the Lord. Okay, so that's Psalm 33:12. Just another routine case. It shouldn't be like any other. I guess we're going to have this dialogue now. Guards, leave us for a minute.
You can't take my peace. You can't take my peace away from me.
That's exactly what has been taken away, your peace.
It's not of this world, not subject to your moods or your rights.
Well, I've heard that from your people over and over again. Dead is still dead.
I'm not of this world, not subject to your failures and your control.
Sedition, that's your crime. That's what you'll pay for.
You won't take my perfect peace. I'm not the one who sold her soul.
It's not about the soul. It's about you being dead in about 20 minutes.
You might take my life, only if it's my time.
It's over. Admit it.
You can't take the peace and love in my heart away.
What are you talking about?
It's not of this world, but
What world?
you are of this world.
You're damn right I'm of this world. That's right, honey, this world's all you're gonna get.
You are
You're out of line. There is no way that I'm gonna listen to this. You're insane. You're crazy.
are the blight.
You're a blight. You're a blight, that's why you're being eliminated.
You want to fight,
There is no God.
but it's not me who is your enemy.
If you just shut up, this wouldn't be happening
I
to
don't
you.
understand. I don't understand anything. I've been over backwards for her and for her people and people like this. I've been around them my whole life. I understand them, but the law is the law. I have to uphold the law or not. Is it a law or is it not a law? Is it the way we live or is it the way you want chaos? You want everything to be in chaos? There are rules here. I gotta follow the rule. I don't understand why you're on me. Why am I supposed to feel guilty? What did I do wrong? So what am I supposed to do about this? Let her go? She's willing to die, but what's inside her is powerful. It's more powerful than our laws. And let's face it, she should probably do wrong. Why are we doing this? I know there's something else, but I've lived my whole life denying it. Just denying it. Goes away.
You are enslavement.
Maybe I am enslaved. Maybe I'm enslaved. Maybe I am a slave. I may be elite. I may be able to put people to death. I may be able to do whatever I want in society. But I want to know what she's talking about. How could she be so confident? I'm not confident. I'm afraid of death. I don't want to die. I don't want to be like her, but she seems to be having a marvelous time. Why? Aren't I like her? Maybe I am like her. Maybe this whole thing is a charade. I'm lying to
You
myself.
can't take my peace.
Look at her, she just keeps on.
You can't take my peace away from me.
I've had those thoughts, but I push them down.
You won't take
I shove
my
them aside
peace,
because I can't be here.
my
If I have thoughts like that, I can't exist here anymore.
Look, I'm sorry. I really don't want to do this. I'm sorry. I am sorry.
I just feel lost.